Today's financial advice is sponsored by Endeavor Private Wealth. Chris McGee, managing partner at Endeavor Private Wealth, is joining us for our weekly segment on investing. Chris, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here today.
Of course.
Well, okay, there's no shortage of conjecture about the state of the markets. Some people say we're on the verge of a new bull market, while others argue we've been experiencing a bear market rally and things are destined to turn much worse. What do you think about that?
There will always be difference of opinions, and sometimes those differences will be quite stark. However, what I'm more concerned about is the behavioral factors that may influence an individual's decision to invest, to save, to borrow, and to protect themselves and their family's financial situation.
And I imagine there are quite a few factors to consider. Where do you even start?
You're right. There are a lot. So let's start with an exercise developed by two renowned behavioral economists who asked a group of people to calculate the value of the following equation in just 2 or 3 seconds. And then another group was asked to calculate the value of the second equation. The responses from the first group averaged 512, and the responses from the second group averaged 2,250.
Okay, wow, okay, both groups, they got it very wrong. Had they been so time constrained, they probably would have arrived at the correct answer, which I had to check on here. That's also hard for me. 40,320. Why do you think they missed the mark so much?
Well, they didn't have a calculator, but the researchers postulate that the participants factored on the first just 3 or 4 numbers and then estimated or guessed. And so since Group A's equation started with lower numbers, their guesstimates were significantly below Group B's. Those first 3 or 4 numbers from both groups served as a reference point, or what behavioral economists call an anchor, which is an initial estimate of the information available to them.
I mean, that makes sense. Like the saying goes, you've got to start somewhere.
Exactly. And per the earlier example, anchors can sometimes be very inaccurate or misleading. And that's why it's important not to rush to conclusion, financial or otherwise. Then when you're engaged in what's called the adjustment period, which is where you take your time to consider additional information or conduct further analysis before making your decision. Unfortunately, if there's no adjustment process, or if it's cut short, like in this example, or incomplete, people are forced just to answer with their anchor or what their original guesstimate was, which can lead to poor decision making.
And can you give us a few real-life examples of, anchoring bias?
Sure. Investors may find it hard to sell an investment for less than what they paid for. So the purchase price in this example is the anchor, and that's what they believe it's worth, and often they're either too stubborn or maybe overconfident to go through the adjustment process and to do further research and analysis to determine if their initial assessment is still sound. Here's another example. A person is told that given their age and excellent health, their chances of dying are 0.5%, or their odds of not dying prematurely are 99.5%. With either probability as their anchor, they can see that there's no reason for them to purchase life insurance. They don't go through that adjustment process of considering the small monetary cost of insurance to protect their family and them. And then, the unexpected could happen.
And Chris, what should people do to deal with anchoring bias?
Well, first of all, they need to slow down and think. And if you're dealing with an important financial matter, it might be a good idea to seek the second opinion from a trusted financial advisor who can assist you with the adjustment process and conduct the research and analysis that will lead to better informed decisions.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chris, so much. We always appreciate your time. And to learn more about Endeavor Private Wealth, visit EndeavorPW.com.